Welcome to the fourth episode of Scaling Secrets. Today we have somebody special on the show, a female founder from tech industry. Every founder starts with a great question. How can I build an app? But what she comes from is started from how I can make internet much more safer. She's a trailblazer in New Zealand. Coming from a non-technical background, she's started region's well-respected cybersecurity startup. From bootstrapping across borders to global customer base, she's redefined female founder in tech. She proves innovation doesn't come from code, it comes from courage. Today, we actually diving deep into the journey of Ankita Dhakar, the co-founder of Capture the Bug, a platform that gives businesses and ethical hackers to find vulnerabilities before the bad guys do. Welcome, Ankita. Welcome on Scaling Secrets. How are you doing today?
Doing well. Happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali.
Thank you for having me.
What a great day to be here, right? I mean, Diwali is close to us and you are here and we're going to have this conversation as well.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Before we can talk about anything, Ankita, I want to just get straight into a couple of things which I really interested into talking about it is, You've been in this journey for quite a long time. Is there any kind of one project or any kind of milestone that you have that when you fulfilled it or when you finished it, you said, "Damn, we pulled it off"?
Interesting one. So I call myself an accidental founder. Like I never ever in my life thought that I'd start something of my own.
Wow.
But thanks to the manager that I used to work with, I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so pre-COVID, I thought, okay, not enjoying what I'm doing. Let's start something of our own.
Mm-hmm.
And so I gave, my first company, which is Security, a shot.
Yeah.
And honestly, just starting that company was like a big thing for me because people were like, this is not going to work. We're heading into COVID and I don't come from IT background, so I don't come from a cyber formal background.
We all know that.
Yeah, so starting a company, starting COVID and being a young female, heading into a field that I wasn't even prepared for was a big achievement for me. I was like, if I can run this for at least a month or two, that would be a success.
Not fair enough.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. And talking about, I mean, we all know that with the various other sources, we've understood that, don't come from a really technical background, but pulling off something like this, it's an achievement itself, right? And that's what you said about. How was the name? I mean, how did you come across this name, Capture the Bug, right?
Capture the Bug. I wanted something that should actually simple but catchy, and also explain what we do.
True.
So as you know, Capture the Bug, we capture bugs.
Of course.
We capture software vulnerabilities.
Sure.
So yeah, and when we compared the competitor's name, we were like, okay, Capture the Bug.
True.
Interesting. Premium makes sense. And so we went away with it. And it's not very old and traditional, but it just also gives the fresh energy that we have. So we're all very young founders in the team. And so we wanted something fresh. So Capture the Bug kind of really related with all of us.
No, I mean...
people say that it's a good name. Like,
oh, no, 100%. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is an absolute brilliant name. And the thought itself makes me think the extent of which people can go to get a name as well. I mean, absolutely, that relatability of the Capture the Bug towards what you guys are doing in terms of the platform offering a service for the pen testing side of things, which is brilliant itself. Talking about the company, you said there are quite a few young people in the team, right? And when you talk to different enterprise customers or SMEs in the market, what kind of emotion do you want to drive when you talk to people? When people think about Capture the Bug, what do you really want them to think? Like, how do you want them to connect to you?
I'll give you an example. So we work with eRoad, which is one of the they are NZX listed companies and one of our customers. And so this was last year when we were presenting our solution in their big flashy office.
Yeah.
It was just myself, my co-founder, and one intern.
Yeah.
And it was 7 of them, very excited and interested in learning what this new startup can offer us.
Absolutely.
And so I think the energy that I was nervous as a founder for sure, but I wanted to show them that we know what we're doing, and we are we're very passionate about what we do, and we are 100% sure that this is going to work for them.
100%.
And I think at the end of the conversation, they could see that what they've been currently using it's worth giving us a shot. And I think at the end of the conversation, I said, well, you don't have to replace the current solution that you're using.
Okay.
Just let us do a pilot with you for 2 weeks and run our solution with your current vendor. And then at the end of the pilot, you tell me what you saw. And it just blew their mind. And, we've been working with them for a while now.
But I'm sure 7 people sitting around the table, you guys 3
And
of
it was
them.
just their security engineering team. They've got thousands of people.
Yeah, no, 100%. And eRoad being eRoad, I know them from a different background of mine anyways, but I've dealt with them a bit here and there, not much. But talking about them, people sitting in front of you, they were all from the cybersecurity background, and you talking to them that, don't replace your current vendor or incumbent, but try running side by side. I'm sure, someone out of that team might have thought that, these guys just another bug bounty guys, just come here to show off, whatever they got and stuff like that, I would say, whatever their software is or platform is. What was your unfiltered response to those kind of people?
I love these kind of people.
Yeah.
Because at least that gives me the opportunity to show them. I mean, I know even if they're not 100% into the solution and they're not trusting what I'm saying, but that arrogance or whatever that is just giving me an opportunity to tell them okay, we're here to see, and that gives us the opportunity to show them what we can do.
Okay.
And I think when they see what we are capable of, it just after that, I mean, who doesn't want a 10x ROI?
100%.
Yes,
and you take that as an opportunity rather than a setback.
Yes. Yeah. No, I look at the positive side. I mean, if I'm sitting in a NZX listed company office, I think half the struggle is already done, right? Like people, it took us so much to be in their offices. So I'm not going to take any answer as a no. I'm going to just push myself and just get that pilot underway and
How many emails did you do to them, if I may ask?
It's not just emails, it's so many things. I'm really grateful to one of my advisors. When the emails weren't working and the LinkedIn messages didn't work, I actually reached out to her and said, look, you're a CTO of a successful company. Can you introduce me to the CTO of eRoad and see what he comes up with, because you hold more credibility than I do.
100%.
And so when she did that, I got a response, and that was start of something.
Wow, brilliant! The networking does work, isn't it?
Yes,
in that case. So talking about it, right? What is the biggest bug that you have fixed? Not the code, but as a mindset, as a founder, what is the biggest bug that you fixed yourself?
I think when we were starting out, so our solution when we launched the product into the market, we thought this is good for fast growing startups. And because we were servicing the fast growing startups, and we work with really cool brands like Yabble, Partly, Parkable, all these amazing Kiwi brands, I somehow started thinking that the solution is made for only the startups and the SMEs. I never thought that this could be used for larger enterprises.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was really the initial thought, is it?
I think when you're so consumed in the problem, and then you start working with one in one direction, I would say, and because largely all our clients were in that space, it was hard for us to feel why would a NZX listed company or a large enterprise like you would give us a shot, right? But when I got some headspace and I started thinking, well, this is a great product, I'm sure this can solve a problem for security development teams, because absolutely they are changing codes pretty much on a regular basis, and they don't want to do pen testing just for the sake of compliance. Maybe we can try and reach out to larger enterprises and listen to their problems. And I think just that question helped me to ask myself and other people more questions. And I think during discovery calls with these enterprises, I kind of validated that that's a problem worth solving.
Oh, that's interesting, because having that mindset and overcoming that mindset of that my product is just suitable for X, Y, and Z suit of people, but not that A, B, and C. It is pretty interesting to see that change of mindset that comes into play, because a lot of people.
It's not just that, because we're a bootstrapped company.
Of course.
And we're still pretty lean and fairly small.
Of course.
And so thinking about working with such a large company, it just doesn't happen naturally.
100%.
So you have to think outside of your comfort zone. You need people who can sort of motivate you and help you.
Of course.
Yes, this is great what you're doing, but maybe think differently. Think
100%.
from 5 years from now where you want to get to, and I think that sort of thinking does help early stage founders.
No, absolutely. And talking about the traditional, we talked about earlier, you don't come from a traditional background of technical industry itself. What do you think? What made your thought, or what was that one thought in your mind when you said, I can make it in the tech industry?
I think because I used to work for a company that destroyed people's confidential information.
Wow, that's an interesting way to say it, destroyed.
So they were literally like destructing information, like shredding passports.
Oh, wow.
Medical health records and stuff. And so one day, and this was, 2020, I got curious, what happens if this data gets into the wrong hands of people?
Yeah.
I'm a very inquisitive person. And so if something comes into my head, I need to get an answer. And before that, I didn't even know what's the space like, what's happening around cyber. So that whole night, I spent my entire night interested. I was very interested in learning about the space and what's happening in New Zealand.
Yep.
And then I found out that there are businesses in cybersecurity, but they're trying to solve a problem for government organizations.
True.
Large organizations, but nobody was going after the startups and the small,
the SMEs.
Yes.
And,
so I said, maybe I can start with something, and if this doesn't work out, I can always go back to my job. I just started with that idea.
No, fair enough. Interesting you say that, because there's always I'm really curious that.
It was just a question.
Oh, was it?
It was just a question, and I just wanted to explore
what could be the answer for this question in my mind.
And I think I have always been like that, even today. When I reach out to any of the potential customers or the customers that we work with, it always starts with a question.
Yeah.
Because I want to challenge myself pretty much on a daily basis, and that I think that's helping us improve our product as well.
Yeah, fair enough. And just out of curiosity, you said about the team being lean, and you're now talking to the enterprise as well. Do you still believe that the team is lean, or are you slowly growing into that phase of into a growth pattern, or where you guys at in terms of that?
So we're around 15 people now.
Okay. In New Zealand.
So we are spread across Australia, New Zealand, and India.
Wow.
We had somebody in UK, but she was on a maternity leave, so she's still. I think she's going to take time to come back.
Interesting.
So that headcount is under 20, I would say, still, and we've been into business for 2 years now. So I think we're doing fairly well.
Is it difficult to understand the mindset and kind of the leadership and the trust that requires when you are growing into these different regions?
So majority of our customers are actually in New Zealand and Australia.
Oh, okay.
But since I think it's been 2 months now, we're getting interest from Middle East and Latin America as well. So we're exploring distributors in those countries. So we're going to be doing really, really good stuff in the next year. We're just preparing ourselves for the new year, I would say.
Oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting news to have. I'm talking about you being a founder or co-founder of Capture the Bug, right? I mean, there's always a moment that comes across a place where you thought this could be the roadblock, or this is kind of hitting the wall sort of stuff. There's nothing that I can see pretty much anything forward from here. How did you debug it?
I think I would say I was very blessed that I was surrounded by the right people, because I think community is really important when you're building something from scratch.
Yeah.
And so I am part of an accelerator called Ministry of Awesome that's based out of Christchurch.
Okay.
And so when we launched the product, we kind of launched it with Ministry of Awesome.
Oh, okay.
And so I got access to some really amazing founders. Like I know the co-founder of Partly, which is again amazing company. So if I have questions, I can always reach out to Nathan, right?
Yeah.
I know somebody from Komodo. Again, he was one of my mentors. I know somebody from Lawview. So I had access to like the best founders in our country. So I think it wasn't always about. I mean, if it's your startup, you're building it, so you're gonna do something about it. But I think when I had the questions, I had the right people who could guide me. So community is really important.
No, fair enough. I mean, definitely. And talking about kind of the hard work, the persistence, the resilience that is required for a co-founder himself, do you think it is that kind of people are born with it, or is it kind of you get it once you kind of fail? It is after the failure that you kind of get those kind of skill sets that into yourself or built in yourself.
Interesting one. I think I am a natural, but it's like you don't have a plan B, right? Like you have to make it work. So
True.
you have to do 100 different things. Like even getting to E-Road, we're doing a pilot with North Power, and North Power, it took us 2 years to get to just get them to say yes. So yes, I would have just shifted my priorities, looked at somebody else, but that's the easy stuff, right? I mean, somebody would be doing this if it was easy. It's not easy, and that's why you need that kind of resilience, and you have to train yourself. When people say no 100 times, you still have to ask that question to the same person.
100%.
after 100 times, and still believe that person's going to say yes.
Well, I'm in sales, so I can definitely align with it.
So you would know better than me. I am not a natural salesperson, but it's something that I've learned with time, that it's people do business with people they like.
Absolutely, that is the key thing, right? I mean, if people don't like you, then pretty much the business is not going to happen at all.
And I think because we are in cybersecurity, there needs to be trust. And so I think what has worked with me is that I've always been honest with people. So when we work, so Partly is one of our customers as well. And when Partly was, honestly, like when we launched the product, it was such ugly looking product. And half of the things weren't even working. And so the co-founder came back to me. So just tell me what parts of the product works and actually works. And I was honest with him. I was like, this can do, like, it can do basic things, but we're developing the stuff that can help you do things faster and smarter. And he loved that. He was like, I love it, because you're not, glamorizing things for me. And I think the right people appreciate honesty.
100%.
Yeah.
I think one thing I've identified in New Zealand is as much as you keep it simple and transparent, people like that. And this is based out of my experience in sales, right? I mean, the more I talk to people, the more simple I make it for them, I think then everything can be achieved. It's like the rule. say yes now, and then we'll figure out if there's another way of doing that. But also being, when you say yes, it needs to be transparent. It needs to be honest. It needs to be simple.
It needs to happen the day that you've promised them.
Yes.
To.
I mean, delivery is much more important.
If you ask any of our customers, they're going to say, if they're doing it, they're going to deliver it. If they're not working with you, that means they're not going to do it, or whatever that is.
Yeah.
So that helps, I guess.
100%. And I mean, talking about the New Zealand people, we also talk about the, the hiring that you've done in New Zealand, in India. What's the hardest lesson of scaling across cultures did you learn?
I think to hire in a startup, it's you need different kind of people.
Yeah.
People who've worked in large companies, they struggle in this environment because it's so fast and dynamic, and things are changing pretty much every day. And if they're working on something today, that might change tomorrow and whatnot. So I think that you need to go after certain people. And I think in our case, most of these people have been, have reached out to us, then we reached out to them.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes. And as I said, we've been very lucky. So I want to make sure that the people we work with are really closely aligned with the vision and where we want to go. And if that means that hiring takes 7 months or 1 year, I'm fine with that. So,
well, does it take that much long?
Because if you want the right people,
fair enough.
Because one hiring can go so wrong, right?
So is it right to say then you pretty much hire the people based on the fact that you have a technical gap, but you hire those people to fill those technical gaps?
I would say I hire crazy people.
That's great.
Like somebody that has some sort of craziness in them, because when I started, I didn't know a thing about cybersecurity. But what I knew was I was really good at laying down the complex problems in the most simple way, and that helped me to get where I wanted to be. And so every person, when we interview, I need to see something that is going to be valuable for us, and not just for us, for that person as well. And that's why they will stick with us in the long term. So we don't want people who are with us 1 year and then they go away, right?
But talking about the crazy people, I'm sure there must be crazy questions coming from them as well. So have you experienced any crazy questions coming from them?
Well, I don't think crazy questions, but some people would say they are offensive questions. Like so me and as my team, because we're so not so young, but we're still people, under 30s and maybe start of 40s. Yeah. So we were interviewing somebody who was in their late 50s, and it was myself and a few Gen Zs and whatnot. And that person asked us, love what you guys are doing, but you don't have experience in your team. But I love that. I was like, so not crazy, but I think curious people. They were very curious. How are you even running this show without any experience? Which is, I was like, I've been in this industry for 7-8 years now. That's experience.
It counts, right? I would say the same thing. I mean, people talking to me, they talk to me about, not having that technical mindset. I talk to them, I don't need to be. I need to make the problem much more simple and give an explanation to my team, as well as the prospect that we can achieve in XYZ form.
Yeah.
If I can do that, I have the propeller heads at the back who can figure it out how to get that achieved in the most fantastic way that they need to achieve.
I think just last week we got somebody in US. So he's commercial lead in the US, and honestly, so he was former CIO of Tesco.
Oh, okay.
So getting somebody like him interested, and he's ex Microsoft. He was senior product manager at Microsoft. Yeah. So getting somebody like him interested, it can't be just the product. It has to be the people, the culture, and where we're going. Right, we're solving a bigger problem.
100%. And I mean, talking about those people coming into play, they bring a lot of one that is energy, one that is experience with them as well. So it does kind of uplift a bit of a team as well, that we have somebody knowledgeable to look into as well. But do you guys feel a lot of kind of, when those guys, the experienced guys are on a couple of decades or maybe a decade longer, they ask questions and you feel, this guy is 50 years old, right? I mean, he's asking a question, must be right. Do you come that moment?
No, I think it's just the the way they do things.
Okay, fair enough.
So I am a very fast person. So if I know I want to do something, I respect the people who take time. It's not I'm not saying anything against them, but for example, James, who's just joined our team, it was just a simple announcement that was going out for LinkedIn.
Yep.
And it took
Is this the same guy that you just posted on the LinkedIn?
Yeah, James Trammell. So
yep.
It took him 2 days to kind of approve the PR that was going out, and I could do the same thing in 15 minutes. So it's just that,
Wow.
So, but that's the process that you need when you're scaling teams, when you're growing a business.
Yeah.
So there's a pool when the experienced people work with founders, because founders, personally myself, I'm not too much process driven.
Okay.
If I feel that it's going in the right direction, I feel that my heart is in it, I'll do it. It's just the feeling. But for them, everything is process, consequences and whatnot. So
what's going to happen if this goes out? So that goes out.
And it's strategy. It's strategy, and everything is happening because they're
interesting form. Comes a question from there. Do you, if you're talking about how the journey has went so far in terms of scaling the business, would you rather underestimate and play it more quietly, or would you like to kind of overhype and take a risk of burning out?
No, I think quiet is good for us. But I think I try and write on LinkedIn, and then I think from next year onwards, you're going to see more.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion. I would like to be quiet, but the people that we're speaking. So we've got, I don't know if you know, and so we've got the former CEO of Reddit on our board.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So people ask me, why are you not even like talking about that on media and stuff? And I was like,
there you go, now here.
Yeah.
It's now here.
Apart from the title that she held, she's a wonderful human being, and she's doing too much more, right? So it's about that. And again, like, there's so many things that you're doing that something we had to get somebody on board. So we're hiring somebody to look after the social media and marketing side of things as well. But right now is just, very chaotic.
Well, I can definitely match it up, because we had one of the person coming in here, and I won't name it, but he did say quite a lot of things to us off the camera, which we actually did not get on camera, but that's fine. And he believes in the same thing. I mean, working quietly, underestimating yourself, but at the same time, believing in yourself as well. So that's quite an interesting move that we've been seeing quite lately.
Yeah, and there's so many markets that we're exploring. Not everything is for social media, I believe. And I'm a bit old-fashioned that way. I would rather write about it when it has happened, rather than just...
Talking about the old-fashioned itself, we're coming to an ethical hacking point, right? It's still alive. People are still using it. Do you think that it actually limits the innovation in the market?
Well, I don't think when you talk about bug bounties and ethical hacking, that's not a term that's very familiar in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Because when we actually launched as a bug bounty platform.
Ooh.
And we got a lot of pushback. It's like, why would we invite the community of ethical hackers to hack into our systems? And I was like, well, the bad guys are actually doing that. You might as well have an army of good people to protect you. But we are so laid back that it's going to take ages. And so what we did, again, like as a founder, you have to think of creative ways. So what we did was we said, okay, if we only market the community aspect of things outside of New Zealand, let's say how that works. So we are still a bug bounty and pen testing as a service platform, but the bug bounty aspect is only for organizations outside of New Zealand, because they are more mature. They understand why they need the community by their side. But in New Zealand and Australia, we are selling the pen testing as a service, which is continuous, scalable, faster, efficient. cost efficient, I would say.
And talking about the cybersecurity platforms itself, and based on my recent experience with the company that I'm working with, cybersecurity is always considered as an area where trust is the most important factor. I always talk to my team as well, and they say, guys, trust is the most important aspect of this whole cybersecurity. It doesn't matter whether we give them, whatever the product is, X, Y, Z, or A, B, or C. We have to trust that person.
Yep.
And considering you are in the same space, you are pretty much in the cybersecurity industry. How do you build that trust between an enterprise and that kind of hacker community that you guys have around?
I think with the hacker community, it was so I used to write. I'm not that active on Twitter now.
Okay.
But I've got a community of 5,000 people on my Twitter. So I used to write about trends and how do you become a bug bounty hunter. I used to write about vulnerabilities and consequences, chaining of vulnerabilities and stuff like that. And so, I think I had like 1,000 followers in a matter of 6 months. I had a community of 5,000. And but when we shifted priorities from bug bounty to pen testing as service, then the strategy changed, and so I stopped hanging out on Twitter too much, and then came back to LinkedIn.
A little more safer place to actually converse with people.
Yeah.
No, fair enough. And being a female founder itself in the tech, and kind of what is the biggest myth that you think it is there in the current market that people should actually stop respecting?
It's not a myth, but I would say that there are not many females in cybersecurity.
Yes.
And not many that look like me. So it's harder.
Okay, fair enough.
It's harder. I think it has become significantly easier for us since we started working with a few large enterprises.
Sure.
But because then we can say, well, E-Road is working with us.
Yeah.
So it becomes easier for us to start that conversation. Yes. But before E-Road and some of the other companies, it was very hard. And that's why I said the people around you are really important. Like you need to have the right people, the community, because in the founder journey, things can get too low when you feel like, why am I doing this? Yeah. Nobody is interested in buying what you're selling.
Yeah, true. And we were talking about the trust a few minutes ago, right? I mean, people start believing about cybersecurity only when they are breached.
Yes. Yeah.
Why is that? Why do you think it's that way?
I think it's the insurance analogy, I guess.
Okay.
People only buy insurance when
they go sick or something happens,
something
right?
happens.
Before that, nobody likes to pay for it.
Yeah. But I think you also need to find the right people. I think people who already understand the risk, they treat the customers that they are dealing with, they think about their security. So those customers are easy to get onboarded because it's like, so for example, right now, businesses are already spending $40,000, $30,000 on one single pen test. We are saying, well, with the same amount of budget, or maybe a little bit more, depending on the kind of business we're working with, you're going to get pen testing throughout the year. And every time you launch a new product, every time you do a new integration, you can get pen tested. But before that, you're actually going back and forth on emails, you're finding a vendor, and it's so complicated. So they see that there's real ROI in it. And 100%. So I think I am a very arrogant person when it comes to differentiating what we can deliver and what our customer, our competitors are selling. And when they see that honesty and that capability, it just, they're like, oh, okay, let's even have a conversation and try their pilot. There's no harm in trying the pilot, right?
Yep.
Because we are so confident in the product that we know that once they see it, they're going to buy it.
No, 100%. And arrogance is good. I mean, to have a product, I think arrogance in a good way is always better.
Yes.
And if you, being a co-founder, if you are on a journey or building a company for yourself, I think if you are not going to be arrogant for yourself, I think there's nobody else who's going to buy that, right? You need to have that trust in a good way, and arrogance in a good way is always better for the company that you're driving towards. And I think that's what everybody needs to start believing in it. In that case,
I think you need to be open to asking for help as well. I think
100%.
a lot of founders, they struggle to ask for help. I think with me, I've been very shameless in asking for help.
Do you think asking for help, or is it more of a kind of a feedback?
Yeah, I think when you're so consumed in the problem, the kind of things that you're dealing with, you need a fresh perspective.
Yes.
And so I can ask any question, like even if it is a silly or dumb question to the other person, I still ask it. Or like I ask them, what do you currently use? Do you think, using it in a different way would solve a problem? And so it gives me a fresh perspective, a fresh take into what can be done. Otherwise, we would have never gotten to work with an enterprise.
100%.
It was only because I asked the right people the right questions.
Absolutely. And what do you think, what is the biggest lie do you think it's in the tech industry that it keeps telling itself?
Tech industry. I think it's so many lies, but one thing that I would say is, so not just tech, but cyber.
Yeah. Let's keep it cyber. Tech is a really vast number.
I mean, organizations who feel that they're doing pen testing once a year and then they're safe, and I would say that's just a compliance checkbox.
Okay.
And I think they should try and think differently. That would just, I think they're just not open to trying a different way.
Why do you think so? They're not open?
Because they're comfortable in the ways that they're working, right? Like, and it's hard also, when we approach to customers who already have established relationships with vendors, it's hard for them to leave them and say yes to a new company, whether it's us or anybody else, I guess.
100%.
So,
I mean, that's very true as well. There's a lot of myths about the tech industry itself, 100%. But I mean, cybersecurity has got an altogether different avenue of the way that people keep believing. And I think checkboxes is something we need to get away from as well, I believe. We talked about, you spanning your team into the global vision of going into different kind of, cultures, countries. But how do you share that same kind of vision while you're building the team of yourself, right? I mean, having the same vision for Capture the Bug.
That's hard. So as I said, we make sure that we're not hiring just because we have to get the job done.
True.
So for international customers and the interest that we're getting, what we're doing is we're exploring a long-term partnership with distributors. True. So we don't have to worry about providing them with our own resources, because for example, Dubai, right? They any which ways want somebody that's based there. So it makes sense for us to train their people about the product, what we do, rather than hiring somebody that's based in Dubai and then there's a disconnect between the team. I think that I don't know, I could be wrong, but this is what I've come up with for some time, and let's see if this works.
Actually, a great example that you got in, because my next question was completely related to something on a global dominance level, right? I mean, for an enterprise level, would you ever trade your source for collaborating on an enterprise level domination?
What do you mean by that exactly?
So pretty much, if you want to get into kind of a global area, right? Because making it an open source for people to kind of integrate with your API to do what they need to do, and then create that level of dominance in the market where pen testing is everywhere pretty much, and that's Capture the Bug.
That's interesting, and I'm glad that you asked that question. So what we're doing, so we've got Dr. Vimal Kumar, he's the head of cybersecurity lab at the University of Waikato.
Yep.
So he's one of our advisors and shareholders, and so we're doing a research where we're trying to automate the pen testing. So for example, if you're a pen tester, you might be taking, I don't know, like 2 to 3 days to find vulnerabilities. We're making models that can mimic the workflow of a junior pen tester and see if that can reduce the cost, and that way we don't have to hire more people, but we can automate a lot of the stuff that's low hanging fruits and low value tasks that our pen testers perform. And so for that particular research, we might be looking at open sourcing it.
Well, that's interesting, because they will, comparatively, reduce the workload on the current people that you guys have, plus give the customers an opportunity to do it and test it for the low-hanging fruit that you're talking about.
And we're also trying, because it's we're also trying. The vision that I had for Capture the Bug was always, how can we make it accessible to all customers? And I think if this product or the research gets commercialized, then it would be way more cost efficient for early stage companies and even enterprises.
True. And considering that where you are right now, if you had to start everything back again in terms of scaling, right, from the scratch tomorrow, what would you do differently than what you've done right now?
I think I would not hold everything to me. Like I am
Did you?
Yes. I have a very bad, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
It's because everybody is different and they think differently, right? So when you have your own idea, when you want to build something, you're very passionate about it.
Absolutely.
And so if you have different views as to what I am thinking, I'm not going to take any of that, and I'm going to do what I am going to think is right. And that, again, you're going to learn that with experience, right? So that has taught me a lot of things. But if I were to start something today, I would trust people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I trust people that they've made their own mistakes and where they are coming from, so I love the people that I work with today and also my advisors and mentors, but I would listen to them and take their advice and suggestions.
Interesting that you say that. I mean, there's a lot going to be people who are going to watch this and say, interesting, what was the time that Ankita did not trust us? I'm saying that. So that's for sure.
I think they would know a lot of the times I didn't trust them. They were like, oh, let's do this. No, not doing that.
Did you say that to them?
Yep.
Oh, then it's fine. I mean, people.
Oh, I'm a very
straightforward,
open and straightforward.
No, fair enough. And given if Capture the Bug disappeared tomorrow, what would Ankita, what part of Ankita would remain unchanged?
So without without
Capture the Bug gone, COVID comes again, everything gone away. But what part of Ankita would stay?
I would still be doing something. Like I would still be creating something of my own.
Wow.
Okay. It's interesting. I come from a family of entrepreneurs, like both my mom and dad. But when they sent me to New Zealand, I remember my mom specifically and very clearly sat me down and said, you do whatever you want to do. Don't do business. Because and because that's not going to give you a stable life. And I want you to have a stable life, because when you guys were growing up, both you and me and my parents, they were all working, so we didn't have them all the time, right? So
absolutely,
they were like, we wouldn't want that for you. So I was like, oh yeah, mom, why would I do that? And I think it was in my DNA. Like I always, so I couldn't keep that away from me. So
I mean, it's a part of the people, right? When people talk Gujarati, is one of the regional places.
And I'm a Marwari, so.
I mean, yeah, that's true, right? So
it's in my
no matter how much you tell, and I think it goes to me as well. Lots of people told me that because I come from a background of my dad.
Yes.
My dad had a business in the past, and he had his own. He changed. Things didn't work out. He changed, but he always did that.
It gives you.
It's always a DNA, and I always thought. I mean, I played it safe because I did not have, people don't have that kind of safety net in the background. When you don't have safety nets, you try to be safe and cautious about the steps you take, right? And I did that for a long, long time until now. And I was like, I think the time is right. I think, and I'm talking to the co-founders. The time is never right.
Time is never right.
You always late. You always behind the time.
You always have COVID. You'd always
have something.
You would have something.
Absolutely.
Finances, whatever. But I think it's you. It's your gut telling you that
Let's
do it.
No, 100%.
And when that voice goes that loud, it's just hard to ignore, right?
No, absolutely. And I think this part is pretty raw, because this is not on LinkedIn. I mean, this is the part of us that never comes on LinkedIn at all.
This is not glamorous enough.
It is not glamorous enough to. This is not glamorous enough to go on LinkedIn or Instagram that people talk about. But no, it is interesting to see that from the background we come into and how we actually evolve ourselves. that still plays an interesting role. I will quickly go on a short story that I got resonated recently with my really, really good friend of mine. She was talking to me on the phone, and we had a quick chat. And she told me, remember, Bridge, we used to sit when we were 22 years old in New Zealand, and we were talking to each other, sitting on a couch, absolutely doing nothing at the night at 11:30, and we were having a green tea and talking shit. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I never thought that would transcend into something which I'm doing right now, but much more professionally, right?
Yeah.
I'm doing exactly the same. I'm sitting at both ends of the couch talking to somebody else, and I love talking, and I'm doing exactly the same. But I did not realize when I was 22 years old. But now I'm old enough that I understand it.
So I moved to New Zealand when I was 21. So I remember, and it could be like, when I was in college, so there was a fest, and I thought I would, cook something and have a stall of my own. And so I had two friends of mine. I cooked the whole night, and then we made $200 that day. Yeah. And I was so happy. Yeah. And I think, but like that $200, I think that feeling, it's so hard to just ignore that. I think that's how I got started, and I wouldn't trade it with anything else. Like I would do it again.
Absolutely. And, while climbing on the ladder of success, and I mean, success is a very subjective topic, right? I mean, everything, and I don't want to dive deep into it because it's very different to different people. But what I want to ask is, once you get, do you even feel, smarter and stronger you become the lonelier you get?
Again, it depends. It depends how you're surrounding yourself with people, and the kind of stuff that you consume. I think I was very fortunate. So when I launched the company, because the first company which we launched, which was a consulting firm, Security, when we made the first $1 million in revenue from that company, and we expanded into India, we started working with banks. That was a very comfortable time for us to not do something else. Yeah. But when I had a conversation 3 years ago with a CTO of a company that's based in Auckland, and they said, well, we were delivering a pen test report to them, and they came back to me and said, this is great, but how sure you are that you've gotten all the vulnerabilities in our system? And again, that question haunted me for one day. It was like, that's interesting. Yeah. What are other people doing about it, right? And so that question stuck with me. And so when I was exploring, it was exactly the same way I started my first company. Yeah. And again, like people said, this is going good. Why are you? Because starting a product company again from scratch is so difficult. Yes, you have the safety net because you have a consulting firm. It can support you. It can help you. It can give you the resources if you need. But again, you were giving away your time from a company that's generating revenue to creating a new one that you don't know if it would be successful in a new market. So
100%.
Yeah, I'm a risk taker, I would say.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I mean, risk is always good. But
I don't know. I think.
But being a co-founder is always good, right? I mean, you have to take a risk.
I'm privileged because I didn't have a lot of debt. I didn't have kids, and so it was. I was in a privileged space that I could take that risk.
100%.
But I do know that there are people who might wanted to do something what I was doing, but they always feel like, well, the finances, they have to look after the family and whatnot. So.
And do you feel that is there anything that success cannot heal?
I think the one thing that I would regret is that I've spent really missed spending important days with my parents and my siblings, and I was here, I was doing things here. So I missed Diwalis, so many Diwalis, so many Holis. And but now that I'm doing fairly okay-ish, I try and spend 2 and 3 months in India, meet potential customers and customers in India, and then also spend time with the family, because that's really important. And I think it also ties to why I'm not it's hard for me to get into the negative space, because I know that I can always go back to my people. I have my family, so that you need to have something that gives you that you can't build something like this without.
I think it makes you much more grounded once you are there, right? I mean, you can go back to the roots.
Yeah,
this is where I come from. So this is what I am, actually.
This is who I am. Yeah.
Whatever people are saying is quite more different. But if you talking about it, if you could share one kind of a scaling secret, as our name goes, that changed the company's trajectory, what would that be?
I think it would be different for everyone, but for me personally, because I'm a female, and I'm a female that's not from here. It's no matter what people say to you, on your face, behind your back, you gotta trust yourself. Like you have to trust the instinct, and you are going to see, like, you're going to learn that with time it's going to go stronger and stronger. But I think it has helped me to kind of listen to myself, and even if I've said no to so many things, I don't regret it, because I know that I've learned something from it. So as long as you're learning from your mistakes, and you know why you're saying no and yes to things, that's going to help you build a strong company.
Sure. And what do you think for the people who are actually, kind of sitting in the same position you were in back in 2019, or when you started Capture the Bug, those kind of people who are sitting on the fence, thinking exactly whether we should do it or not? Is there a kind of message for them?
Just do it. If you're not doing it, you're not going to know whether it's for you or not. Like, I started first company thinking that I can always go back to the job. Like, I can find the job. If you really want to do something, I would say give it your 100%, try it. And if it doesn't work, maybe it wasn't for you, but then try something else. Who knows? But you got to do it because you want to do it, and not for the money. I think I started Security Lit because I wanted to learn something. I wanted to explore myself, build something of my own. It was never for money. I think money is a byproduct of what you believe in, I guess.
No, I really think so. And I mean, starting this channel itself, our thought was to build that community, of starting up of the startup community in New Zealand. And I think that the thought behind it was exactly the same, kind of reaching out to people, talking to people, knowing much more. And
if I can do this, anybody can, to be honest. If someone without a tech cyber background can build a cybersecurity company, do business in 4 countries, if you have experience in that particular field, or if you're exploring something else, you can definitely do it. I think that's what I would say.
And do you believe success in tech comes from an innovation, or it comes from a resilience point of view?
Has to be resilience. Has to be resilience. Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Because it has to be resilience, because innovation, I don't know, like there's so many great products in the market. Even if they're not innovative, I think there's something great about them that people are going crazy about. Even if it's getting associated with them, getting, like, I get excited when people reach out to us on LinkedIn and say that we're interested in joining your team. That sort of stuff only happens when they see something in the people, in the culture. And I don't know, you need to find that within you. It's something else, but you need to believe in that, nurture it, and put it out in the world and see.
And this is my last question. I want to tie it up to your very first beginning, that you said you destroyed a lot of things to build, right? I mean, because you were curious enough. So do you build to disrupt or to endure?
Oh, interesting again. I think it would definitely to disrupt. So what we do today is we're disrupting pen testing space. So people are doing pen testing stuck in 2015, and we're giving them a way to think differently, do things differently. And so I think it has to be 100% disruption for me.
Fantastic. We're coming to the end of this episode. Do you want to say anything to the audience who are actually looking at?
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming.
I was really looking forward to this, and I wish you all the success.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ankita, for doing that. Thank you so much, everyone. That was Ankita from Capture the Bug, reminding us that debugging isn't just a code, it's about growth, mindset, and leadership. Thank you.
Thank you.